Okay. So yesterday, exception propagation we started, and what we said, guys, here, this is a technique of to handle exceptions which was raised under declaration block. Okay, no? So generally, the exception blocks are handling exceptions which was raised in a execution block. But when if your exception is occurred in the declaration block, then how I can handle that? Okay, no? Right. So for the handling of exceptions in declaration block, we need to use a propagation. This exception propagation, if you want to implement, we must be create a nested PLSQL block. In nested PLSQL block, inner blocks are or inner exception blocks cannot handle. Okay, only outer exception blocks can handle here. Okay, no? And the previous program, this one. So whatever we taken out, and now you can see to this program, I just make it my nested. Okay, and see the what kind of modification I can do this. Okay, this is actually your program that we know that. Okay, and now what I want to do, I'm going to apply here one more begin block. I'm going to use begin under, I'm using declaration, again one more begin and one more exception up to here. And the next we are writing the exception, next one more exception block I'm writing. What is this here? Exception. Okay, then when my exception is, okay, what is exception here? Value underscore error. Value underscore error. Then I will tell you dbms underscore output dot put underscore line of now what I want to say, string length. Okay, now string length. String length is more than 2 the size of variable. The size of variable, what is my variable here? Yes, the size of variable. Yes, so your string length, this is called a string length is more than the size of the variable. Okay, now right, some statement, some user friendly statement I can give, and finally you can come out and see here. Observe carefully. If you see up to here, okay, this exception is called as a inner exception we called. Okay, now so this is inner exception and this is we called as a outer exception. Okay, so that means from here to here, from here to here, this is called a inner block. And for the outside here, there begin from here to here, this is called as what now? Outer blocks. And here two exception blocks are there. Inner block is there and outer. But now you can see my exception which was occurred in the declaration block, whether it was inner block is handled or outer block is handled. So now you can check. So I'm going to take this and execute this program and enter what it was happen. Which block exception is handled? Inner or outer? Outer. So inner block, if it is handled, which message will display? Invalid string length. But what message was displayed here? String length is more than 2 the size of variable s. So that means outer exceptions are handled. Okay, not inside. Right down below. Right. Completed. Hmm. So this is exception propagation, how to do it. And the next one, text editing. These are all are comes under whatever from the day one to today, whatever the programs you checked out. Can you identify these programs are anywhere I saved? No. Can you identify these programs are having any name? No. And these programs cannot be reusable because when the code is not saved, then I can't reuse. So that means no name, okay, no storing, that means no saving, no reusability. So these kind of blocks are called as what? Anonymous blocks. Can you remember in the introduction part we discussed? Two types of blocks are there. Anonymous blocks, subblocks. Anonymous blocks, what we said, the block which is no name, the block which code is not saved, the block which code is not reusable, the block which the code is every time going to be compilation. So everything is like a drawbacks, we said. And to overcome these problems, what is the next block? Subblocks. Subblocks, what we discussed, the block which was having some name, the block the code can be saved, the block the code can be reusable, and subblock one more advantage is what now? Pre-compilations blocks. Every time compilations are not necessary. First time compiling your code, from the second time no compilations, directly executed. And subblocks are we are using in a application development side like Java, .NET database. Anonymous blocks are using for only testing side. Okay, now as of now, what we discussed curses programs, exception programs, and curses before some little bit basic examples. These all together you can observe. There is a no name for these programs. These programs code we didn't save it anywhere in our database. Okay, and no reusabilities. Every time compilation should be required, these programs. Okay, now these all are happen. But now my important blocks, and this is very, very important. Anonymous blocks are not that much, but you have to focus on what now? Subblocks. Now take siding subblocks. So already in the previous classes, I was explaining to you the definition of subblock is what now? Yes, simply we called subblocks are called as okay, these blocks, blocks are called as these blocks are called as which blocks here? Named blocks. Named blocks which will save the code in database automatically, which will save the database automatically. Database automatically. Okay, na? Right. These are the three, okay, the four objects are there. Like we can say first object is called as a stored procedures. Second one we called as what now? Stored functions. Third one we called as here, okay, packages. And the fourth one we called as here triggers. So these are the four objects or subblock objects we called. So procedures, functions, packages, and triggers. Now come to procedure. The procedures, how we can go to design and what is the advantage of this procedure here observe. So procedure is called as it is a one of the named block. It is a named block we called because already it is a subblock, is a object of subblock. So that definitely it was having some name. It is a named block. Okay, it is a named block which contains, okay, which contains pre-compiled code. Okay, na? It is a named block. It is a named block which contains pre-compiled code. Pre-compiled code means already compilation code will be saved in your procedures. Okay, now? Right. So now, how I can design this procedure, sir, means that there is a general syntax. So create or replace, and create or replace is called as optional. And what we called procedure name of, then you can send your parameter. So parameter 1, and here you can give mode type, but mode type is optional. Then after you need to send your data type, and there is no need to mention size. Size don't give it. Okay. And after that, we have here is or as keywords. Any one keyword you can use, nothing problem. Then after, you can go to declare your necessary variables. After that, begin. And then I need to write a procedure body or statements. Then end and execute. Okay. Then after procedure is created, and we all of you know this procedure will be saved in your database. And after saving your procedure object in the database, how that object can be called. Okay, na? So now, how I can call this? Okay, how to call a stored procedure? How to call a stored procedure? There are two syntaxes will be there. So syntax number one, we are using execute command. Execute, I can send my procedure name of sending values. This is one way. Otherwise, even though we called as exec and we take procedure name of sending values. This is one syntax. Syntax number two. In this syntax, you can call like a begin, and here you can call procedure name under begin block and send values and finally end close. So these are the two syntaxes you can use, guys. Okay, but in these two syntaxes, most popular syntax is first one. This is very popular. General in real time, we are using, okay, execute command through, we can call our procedure. Okay, na? This is also can use your wish. Both are going to give same output, but this is very popular syntax in real time. Okay, right. And after that, can you see in my syntax here, procedure name after we are passing some parameters, but parameter after I said mode type. So here, what is the mode type, sir? Here, okay, this is data type, this is parameter, I can understand. But what it mode type? Okay, now we can see. Now text heading. Types of parameters modes. Types of parameters modes. So basically, guys, here in our PLSQL, stored procedure supporting three types of parameters modes. Okay, first one we called as in mode. Second one we called as out mode. Third one is called as in out mode. Okay, na? In, out, in, out. What is the differences of these three parameters? Okay, parameters modes. Here observe. Suppose when come to in mode. In mode, it means what now? It is a default parameter of a stored procedure. It's a default parameter of a stored procedure. Okay, na? And these parameters generally we are using in the procedures to whenever we need to store some input values. Which values I want to store in this? Input values. And now tell me, input values are giving by who? User. Who will give it input values? User. So user, whatever he was giving at runtime level, runtime means execution level. At execution level, which values I'm passing, I'm sending, those values are called input values. And those input values are storing under which parameters? in parameter. Which parameter? In parameter. And that is what we called a default parameters. Okay, now? Now what we can say, it is a default parameter of stored procedure. It will store the input values. Store input values. It will store input values which was given by user at execution time. Next, what is next parameter here? Out. What is out parameters means, and where if I'm using out parameter, what it was happen means, out parameter is nothing but it is returning some value. So I'm taking input values from the user, whatever the logic you written in the program, in that logic, these input values are substituted and doing some task. After task is completed, it returns some value. That when your procedures are returning a value, when your procedure is having out parameter. If your procedure is not having out parameters, then procedures are never return a value. So whenever a procedure want to return output, okay, procedure want to return a output, then we are using out parameters. Okay, na? So that means what I am saying here, by default, stored procedures, the stored procedure is never return a value. Okay, never return a value. If a stored procedure want to return a value, okay, then we should use which one here? Out parameters. Then we should use out parameters. Now here see, simply for your understanding, suppose guys here, are you declared int a comma b comma c? There are three variables we declared. Okay, now what I want to do, I'm asking here, enter two values. So two values are entered by user at a runtime level. Now after, he will write c is equals to a plus b. Suppose now, and after that, he will be, okay, what he will do, he will return C. So now in this case, what it was happened, suppose user entered 10 comma 20, there are two elements or two values are entered at runtime level. So whatever he was entered, these are called as which values? Input values. So input values will storing the corresponding variable A. So 10 is storing into A, 20 will storing into B. And that A plus B calculation here it will be done. So 10 plus 20. What is the result? 30. The 30 will be saved under which variable? C. And the C variable I'm going to do what? Return. So that means what is my result? 30. What is my result? 30. So this is actually in your C program, Java, .NET, etc. And now my question is, how many variables in this? 3 variables. In 3 variables, which variables I called as in, which one is outer? AB is a in, C is a out. Why, sir? C, because C is a returning value. Understand na? ABs are storing values. C is a returning value. This is the concept of what now? What is that? In and out. Concept clear now? So now this is simple. Now, next one is what now? In out. In out means a variable or a parameter, or otherwise a parameter, a parameter, a parameter which can accept and also return a value. Okay, a parameter which can accept and also returning a value. So storing and as well as returning, that is called a in out. Clear na? Let me see one by one. We can go for this. First, take it. Example on in parameters. Okay, one example right now. Create a stored procedure. Create a stored procedure to input employee number as a in parameter, and display that employee name and salary details, from EMP table. Now, question understand? I want to create a stored procedure to input. What I want to input? Employee number. Okay, and display. What I want to display? Name and salaries. Okay, na? Let me come out and see. So, for example, this is our table information. First, I have to go my table. Okay, select a star from EMP. So here employee numbers, name and salaries are there. So out of this 14 employees at runtime level or execution level, which employee number I was given, that related employee name and salary I need to fetch from my table. Suppose if I'm giving 7788, what is the name of this employee? Scott. And what is the salary? 3000. So like any number you can enter that I want to fetch. So how you can write your procedure as per the syntax? What is the syntax here? Create or replace. And actually, if you're not writing this replace, nothing problem. Okay, na? Create command only you can use, nothing problem. Okay, na? Right. So create, replace. What it will be? Procedure. My procedure name SP1. And your P stands for parameter. For our V stands for variable, how we are taking. P stands for parameter. And just here our identification. What should be? Employee number. Which type? Integer type. What is data type? Number, not integer, in mode type. Okay, na? So parameter name, mode type. Which mode type? In mode number. So that means now tell me, P underscore EMP number parameter will returning a storing which values? Input values, which was given by who? User. At what time? At runtime. Okay, na? So now, okay, fine. Later, is are as keyword. And here I need to declare my variable. What I need to display? Ename. Which type ename? Varchar type. What next? Something is missing. Procedure spelling. Okay, right. So is Now I'm going to declaring my ename. So varchar 2 of some size. And the next one is what now? Salary. Because I want to display name and salary. Then after begin. So now here what I want to write, generally if you want to retrieve data from a table in PLSQL, what is the syntax? Already we discussed. Okay, just tell me, if I want to retrieve data from a table in SQL, how to write query? Select a star from table name. Same thing in PLSQL. Select column names into variables. Already explained now. So here you can write select ename comma salary. These two columns where I want to store v ename comma v salary. From which table? EMP. What conditional basis? EMP number is equals to. And this EMP number where I stored in parameter. Yes or no? Your ampersand don't use because already storaging parameter is there. What is that? PEMP number. So here you can pass PEMP number. Understand now? Then after, what is that? DBMS underscore output dot put underscore line of what do you say? V underscore ename concatenation comma V underscore salary. Okay. Then finally, what should be end? Begin block to execute now. So procedure is not created. It was showing what now? Insufficient privileges. So your insufficient privilege means permissions you can take, guys. Here the permission who will give it to your system. My password is Tiger. Oh, capital password. Small case characters na. Okay. So now here one command user. What is the command here? Grant DBA to which user? MyDB 4 p.m. Okay. After that, to take this one, MyDB 4 p.m. slash MyDB 4 p.m. Okay. And then after you can write this entire procedure program. Okay. Is variables begin select into condition display and now execute. So procedure successfully execute. After executed, now this procedure how to call, guys? Two syntaxes na calling syntaxes. What is the first one? Execute procedure name. What is the procedure name? SP1 of passing values. Now tell me, your procedure is having how many parameters? One parameter. So how many values we send? One value. So 7788. Then if I'm sending 7788, what it was happening here? This value will be storing under this parameter. So that means in this parameter memory, what it was there? 7788. This 7788 parameter, where are you substituted? In your select query. So that select query EMP number is equals to what I said. P underscore EMP number. But P underscore EMP number, which value stored? 7788. So here can I say right like this here? Yes. That means now tell me which employee name and salary I'm fetching. 7788 employee name and salaries are we are fetching. And let me see whether you are fetching or not. Procedure is not, because we need to do what? Server output is on. Set verify is off. Okay. Now procedure is created and then you can call again. Okay, execute. What is the procedure name? SP1 of 7788. Okay. So what is the name of that user? Scott and 3000. This is one way. Otherwise, you can call exec also. This is also you can use execute command shortcut. So again, you can say 7788. Okay, same output. Otherwise, syntax number 2. What is the syntax number 2? Begin procedure name as P1 of sending values 7788. And what should we do? End and execute same output. Okay, now? Yes. So, but here come out and see in this procedure, I'm using which parameters? In parameters only. We are using any out parameter? No, only in parameters. Right down below. So first connect with your admin guys. And first of all, okay, the grant permission you can take. Then after connect with your user account. Then after you can create your procedure. Procedure is created. After that, calling here. What I want to say? Calling a stored procedure. Calling a stored procedure. Okay. Here you can use set verified. So this or that you can use R operator and output will be come to you. Next, second method. This method is what now? Okay, syntax number 1 here, and this is our syntax number 2. From the next example onwards, I'm not taking 2, I'm taking only 1. Any one I can use. So now, yes. So these are the syntax number 1 calling and syntax number 2 calling. Okay, now? Now write down below. Completed. Okay, right. So in parameters, okay, just the storing and the storing parameter values are substituting into your query and display. That's it. But the important thing is what now? Yeah, write down. So example on out parameters. So this is somewhat important and somewhat confusing. Okay, now? Now you're careful. Observe. First, I will show you one small example. First, I'm showing a small example. Here, observe carefully. In parameters are very easy, guys. How many in parameters are you declared along with your procedure? That many values you can pass at the time of execution to the procedure, and those values are storing here in this in parameters. And those parameters, wherever you use in the query, there it will be automatically take that value. Okay. But out parameters are not like that. Okay. For small example, you can observe first. Create or replace. Okay. What is your procedure? SP number 2. Here I'm giving X is a in type number. Y is a out type. It is also number. So you have two types of parameters I'm interacting. One is a in parameter, one is a out parameter. And now you can come. So is or as anyone you can use. Suppose if I'm using as keyword also, nothing problem. So now I'm using begin. What I want to say, y is equals to x into x if I'm giving, and finally simply we send end and execute. So procedure successfully executed. Okay, fine. And this procedure, if I want to call, how to call my procedure? Come on. Execute. What is my procedure name? SP2 off. Here carefully think logically. Procedure is having how many parameters? 2 parameters. In 2 parameters, one is a in type, one is a out type. Okay. Now that procedure I'm calling now. So how I'm calling? Execute command. Execute procedure name SP2 off. Now tell me how many values I want to give here. Only one. Very good. Only one I want to give. Why, sir? Because storage parameters, how many? In parameters, how many? One. In parameter values are sending by who? User. At what time? Runtime. So I can give it here 10. Is it closer? So now, because out parameter I will give? No. Who will give it us? System. Procedure want to give it us. Who will give it us? Procedure want to give it us. Okay. As per my responsibility, this procedure is having only single in parameter. So single value I'm passing. But out parameter values we didn't pass. Out parameter is what now? Result, output. Output will return. Who will return output? System. Okay. But what happening you can say. It was showing error. What is error? Read once. Wrong number or types of arguments to calling SP2. It means what now? SP2 procedure are you calling with what? Wrong numbers. But sir, my procedure is having only one in parameter. No? So one I was given, then why it was saying here wrong number of arguments? Actually, your arguments, how many arguments here? 2 arguments. I'm giving how many arguments values? 1. But what it was expecting? Wrong. It was expecting what now? 2 argument values. Understand, na? Procedures can be called with 2 arguments. Because my procedure is 2 argument procedure. My function is 2 argument function. When you are declaring your function with the 2 arguments, then how many values I need to pass? 2, definitely. Yes or no? In Java, for example, constructors are there. Parameterized constructors are there. A parameterized constructor, one constructor are you declared with the 2 arguments. One constructor declared with the 3 arguments. Then if I'm sending 2 values, which constructor will call? 2 arguments constructor will automatically call. If I'm giving 3 arguments constructors will be calling. So same as here also, procedure is having how many arguments? 2 arguments. Here arguments, parameter, everything same. Don't confuse. Okay, na? 2 arguments. And now I'm passing how many values? 1 value. So that's why it is asking question as, are you sending wrong number of arguments to calling what? SP2. Okay. But sir, why is a out na? Out value, how I can give it? In value means I can give it anything. But why means, why is out type, return type? Return value, how I can give it? Yes or no? So that is impossible. We are not giving return value. Return value giving by only system. That's why what we want to do, as your matching purpose, now why variable or argument value we can't send? The value 10 or 20 or 100 or 200, we don't know. That's why what the people will do, without passing a value, they're passing one referenced variable. What they're passing? Referenced variable. Suppose now in case, now I'm passing SP2 of, I'm sending 10 comma X I'm sending now, or X or otherwise A. So now I'm sending like this. Then now see, are you calling your procedure with how many values? 2 values. Your procedure is having how many parameters? 2 parameters. So number of arguments in the procedure, number of passing values to the procedure, both are matching or not? Yes. Then the procedure successfully called. Okay. But how I need to pass this reference variable, sir? Can I directly pass or else there is some mechanism is there? So let me see. Right down below. Write this. Okay, right. So how this problem to overcome now? See, again, I'm seriousing, na? Not good. I just leave your batch because, okay, this month ending, it will be complete. Then again, why I want to show seriousness? And that you don't take as advantage. Again, I'm taking serious, na? Different culture again. So your limits, in your limits only. Okay, na? And don't cross your limit. Sudhakar sir, abhi friendly ho gaya hai. That's why I can do anything in my classroom. Okay. So listen, have any doubts, come and ask. That's it. Okay, na? Now, here, this is actually problem. Okay, na? So you cannot call a procedure with a wrong number of arguments. You never call it. As a rule of procedure is what now? How many number of arguments are you declared? It is a in type, out type, none of the matter. It will be considered as a argument. But this is which type of argument are you passing? It's none of the matter. But what it was considered, how many arguments are there, that is considered. If it is inner, outer, in outer, none of the matter. But how many arguments it will be there, that is only counting. As per that count, you can't send a single value. Okay, na? Then how I need to overcome, sir? This is below write down. To overcome the above problem, we should follow the following three steps. What are the three steps here? Step number 1. So declared, okay, bind or referenced variables for out parameter. So now it is very important. In your procedure, how many out parameters are there? For every out parameter, we need to declare one referenced or bind variable, even though we called. Okay. Now, what is the syntax, sir? The syntax is variable. Here, IABLE is a optional. I'm keeping in optional bracket. Okay, na? Right. Variable. And here I want to take what is now bind or referenced variable name. So then after the suitable data type and size is a optional. Okay, na? So this is what the first step. After that, step number 2. Okay. Step number 2, what we say, to add a bind or referenced variable, to a stored procedure. Okay. How to add? What is the syntax to call procedure? Execute procedure name of, then you have to send how many values you required, that many values you can send. Value 1, value 2, and so on. And here, this which variable I need to bind or reference variable I need to add to what procedure. So when you are adding your bind or referenced variable, you just give it a colon. The colon symbol compulsory. Colon of here you can take bind or referenced variable name. Okay, na? So name 1. Suppose you have a multiple bind variables and so on. Okay, this is your second step. After that, step number 3, what I want to do, print, print bind or referenced variable. Bind or referenced variables. So this is your third step. So come back and see your syntax of this. How to print means a print statement I'm using. I'm using what now? Print statement. Print. Here you can give your bind or referenced variable name. Okay. So these are the three steps we need to follow, guys. Okay, now? Okay, right. And now see, by using of these three steps, okay, I'm going to take the solution now. Carefully observe. Don't write, first observe. So this is actually my problem. I can't directly call my procedure with the one argument. Okay, that's why first I need to declare one variable. And the variable name is your wish, ABC, whatever you can take. And this variable data type must be your out parameter data type. Same, must be. Okay, now what is your out parameter data type? Number. So here also you should go to take a number. Okay, this is step number one. Step number two, this bind or reference variable A, I'm adding to my procedure. So procedure how to call? Execute SP number 2 of. This procedure is having how many parameters? 2 parameters. One is what? In X. In value can I send? Yes, I have chance I can send it. But now Y is what? Out. So out place what we need to bind? Bind symbol colon A. That's it. Now tell me, your procedure are you calling with how many number of arguments? 2 arguments. Your procedure is having 2 arguments. 2 arguments, 2 arguments. Matching a? Yes, now it will be called. Success. This is second step. After calling, then what it was happened? We need to print. Where is my print variable? A. Now you can print 10 into 10, 100. Printed. But here what happens, sir, means very simple. Observe. What happened here? Carefully see. Actually, here what happened? Whatever we are passing now, this will be saved like my expression is what now? Y is equals to X into X. Now I'm sending now 10 comma A. This 10 will be stored into which variable? X variable, because X is a int type. So now that means in X position, your value will be substitute. And your Y position, what I'm taking? Reference variable A. This A reference variable will take in place of Y. So then what it was happening here? What it was happening here? Here, A is equals to 10 into 10. Okay, na? Then A is equals to 100. So that means your calculation result, are you storing under which variable? Referenced variable of Y. Then that's why now A is equals to 100, it will be saved. And this referenced variable, what I am doing? What I am doing? Printing. So 100 is schema? Yes. This is what out parameters whenever you want to use in the procedure. This pattern should be followed. Otherwise, you never call procedures. Impossible. Okay, na? Now write down. Take this 3 steps mechanism. Solution below and the 3 steps. This is not necessary. Okay, simple you can take now. Step number 1, step number 2, step number 3. Okay, right. So now understand out parameters, how to use and how we can call those out parameters. Same thing. Let me go for one more example. Create a stored procedure to input employee number as a in parameter and return that employee provident fund, and professional tax at 5%, 10% based on a basic salary by using out parameters. So now I need to find out provident fund professional taxes. 5%, 10%. Now, how to calculate employee provident fund? Based on which we can calculate? Basic salary. So basic salary of employee, if you know, then you can calculate a provident fund or professional taxes. Suppose one employee basic salary, okay, assume there are 3,000 rupees is there, one employee basic salary. On this basic salary, if I need to find out provident fund, how much percentage? That means 3,000 into 5%. How much it will come? 150 rupees, 150. Suppose next what now? 3,000 basic salary into 10%. 10% means how much it will come? 300. Okay, na? Understand, na? So that means here main important thing is what? To calculate your provident fund and professional tax. What is the main? Basic should be know first of all. That employee basic salary, if you know, then you can calculate a provident fund and professional tax. Understand, na? So now, how we can write? Observe. So again, this is our, okay, table, EMP. I keep it this EMP table. Come to declare your procedure. Create or replace and procedure name SP3. Here one parameter is what now? Which type? In type. Data type is number. Next parameter PF, provident fund. Which type? Out, number. Next PT, professional tax. Which type? Out type. Data type is number. Okay. As per my requirement, 2 out parameters, 1 in parameter. Okay, I just keep it this. Next, is or as. Before you need to calculate PF and PT, first I need to find out the basic salary. So that basic salary, B salary, I'm going to store in a particular variable. That's why variable is needed. Then after begin. Now my employee basic salary I need to fetch. How to fetch data from table in PLSQL? Select into statement. Okay, na? Select what I want data. Salary. That salary where I'm storing. V underscore basic salary. From where I'm taking EMP. What conditional basis? EMP number is equals to very good. P underscore EMP number. Is it clear? Then after what we need to calculate? Now basic salary I know. Calculate what? PF. PF is equals to how to calculate? V underscore basic salary into. So I want to give 0.05. Is it clear? 5%. Next, PT. PT is equals to V underscore basic salary into 0.1 because 10%. Okay, fine. Then I want to do what? End to execute now. Procedure is successfully created. And now how to call this procedure? With how many arguments? 3 arguments. Execute. Execute is not supported. How many steps we need to follow? 3 steps. When you are using out parameters, immediately 3 steps mechanism. Okay, na? If only in parameter is there, execute directly. But your out is there means we can't directly call. Yes or no? So what is the first step? Declare your bind variables or referenced variables. I want to declare now. Where reference variable of a PF is a one reference variable. Number. Where reference variable of PT. Number. Okay. Is it clear? First step is over. What is the second step? Adding. See your notes here. See notes and tell me second step. Adding. Now adding level, what I want to use? Execute what? Procedure name SP3 of first parameter is what? In parameter. So can I give value? 7788 some employee number. Next what now? PF. PF place what I want to pass? Colon reference of a PF parameter or variable. Next colon reference of a PT. Yes. Now procedure are you calling with how many arguments? 3 arguments. Your procedure declared with how many arguments? Number of arguments, number of values, matching up. Yes, now it was calling. Then I need to print a reference of a PF, some space, reference of a PT. Now, which employee I'm finding? 7788. So 7788, you can see Scott. What is his basic salary? 3,000. Okay, now we can come out and see. You got it, huh? PF how much? PT how much? 300. Okay, na? Now getting some idea? Right down below. Okay, leave. Time 5:35. Java 6 na? 5:30. Who is the faculty? मानसानी. 5:30. Sure. मानसारी सर मेरे को पता है. कॉल करके पूछूंगा अभी. हाँ? Okay, go. You also. Mansani, huh? Hmm. So that means different. So many people are there in this batch, huh? सब पता है यार मेरे को क्या करूं. हैं? क्योंकि एक हैबिट हो गया है सबको. सर 5:20-25 का छोड़ देंगे. नाउ इन दिस हाउ मेनी पीपल गोइंग टू सम प्लान्स आर देयर एक्चुअली टुडे वीकेंड्स ना. दे आर मेकिंग सम प्लान्स एक्चुअली. सर 5:25 का छोड़ देगा सो 5:30 से बन जाएगा और प्लान. बट टुडे अनफॉर्चुनेटली 5 minutes एक्स्ट्रा टाइम टेकिंग. हाँ. यू आउट ऑफ जॉब. हाँ. जा जा. एक हैबिट होने व्हेन वी वाज हैविंग सम हैबिट ना. We can't 10 minutes also we can't sit na. Huh? Mentally fixed 5:25. Hmm? Complete, huh? Hmm. So this is out parameters. How we can either multiple out parameters if it is there, multiple reference variables create. Okay, na? Okay. So now in out parameters examples we will discuss Monday. Okay, na? Okay, right, guys. I stop it here. Continue on Monday. Huh? Uh, I'm saving, yeah. Okay. Okay, na? Right. Okay, guys. Then we will meet on Monday. Okay. All right. Thank you.